Before you start doing anything to heal your diastasis recti, stop. Doing the wrong things can make it worse and delay your progress. Whether you're newly postpartum or years in, let's dive right in. I'm going to share with you the 5 things that you should focus on, the do's first, and then I'll share with you 5 other things that you should not be focusing on and don't do it. Now, the number 1 is to focus on your diastasis recti gap and the depth. You need to find out what your depth and the gap of the diastasis recti is because this is your starting point. If you don't even know where you're beginning with on this diastasis recti problem, how do you know that you're making progress? So I just want you to know how many fingers gap you have on your diastasis gap, or how many centimeter if they're doing an ultrasound, and also how squishy it is, like how many knuckles can you fit into the gap. Is it nail deep, knuckle, the whole finger is fitting into the gap? So you need to know this. Number 2 is to focus on the breathing technique, 360 breathing. This is what I teach in the Tummy Warrior coaching program, and I actually share a lot of videos on YouTube on my channel, so do check it out. But breathing has a lot to do with healing your diastasis recti, because without a good inhale, you won't be able to have a good exhale to contract your core, to use your core muscles. And our diaphragm, our core, and our pelvic floor, they all work synergistically together to help you to heal. So if you're not able to expand your ribs or your diaphragm to push down, pelvic floor relax, then you cannot contract and engage and pull in the stomach more. So you need to learn how to expand your ribs, the side of your core, and your back muscles, as well as the chest and belly when you're inhaling. And then as you exhale, you're able to contract that core a lot efficiently. Number 3, start with gentler and safer movement. Now, if this is your first time starting out on exercises for healing your diastasis recti and you're newly postpartum, or like even if you're years postpartum but you haven't done too much for your core or for you in general, then you need to start with slower, gentler movement. It is needed because if you're rushing too fast into cardios, HIITs, F45, those kind of workouts, it can make things worse because your body is not prepared enough for it. And especially if you don't know how to do the breath that I was telling you in my last point, and not knowing how to contract your core. Going into these fast movement makes you feel good. Your sweat, your endorphin is high. It will likely not going to improve your progress on the diastasis recti. That's what you want to heal, right? And it could aggravate other areas where it may be back pain, lower back pain, or it could lead to some other issues like pelvic floor issues, leaking. You are feeling. Sometimes it's more about mental effort as well. It's like, okay, how can I mind to muscles connect to my core? How am I looking? If I'm looking at myself beside a mirror, can I draw in the entire abdomen flat without bulging, without doming? So this is a good starting point. If you're able to have a good control, knowing how to contract your core, yeah, I would definitely want you to do some more challenging exercises progressively, right? Using your core, and then cardios and weightlifting exercises, those can definitely come into the equation to help you to heal altogether. The number 4 do's for healing your diastasis recti is wear a support or wear a belly binding or wrap. This is super helpful if you have a bulging belly that is very disproportionate, just like myself. If you look at the picture here, I call myself this penguin looking belly. My breast and my belly is just bulging out forward. So like it's a lot of strenuous support on my back to have to uphold myself. So having a belly wrap will help to distribute my weight a little bit better, first of all, but also more importantly is to help me to distribute the core pressure more evenly instead of just all pushing to the front, because that's where the pressure wants to go. It goes to the weakest point of my belly. But if I have a belly wrap, I'm able to hold on to the front from the belly wrap, and then I'm able to distribute the core pressure to the side of my core, to my back, and then gently uplift the pelvic floor so it's not a lot of pressure pushing down. I do recommend bellies. You can see the link down here below in the description box where I'll show you in another video on how to wear that wrap, what's the benefits of that wrap, and how is it different from all the wraps you see on the market. Number 5 do is to be patient and be consistent. Now, you might be doing the workouts for 2-3 weeks and you're not seeing progress in you. You get frustrated. I get it. It's human nature. We get frustrated when we put in that time, effort, and even money into something and you're not really seeing the progress you're looking for. It's disheartening. But knowing that your effect is compounding, sometimes it might not show so much on the outside, like it might not feeling like that you're losing the inches around the waist, you're wearing the dress, it feels the same to you, you're wearing the pants, it feels the same to you. But how about internally? Are you able to breathe better now? Are you able to breathe 360 like I was mentioning earlier? Are you able to expand and then contract? Are you able to do some core workout without doming now, without bulging? So those are good biofeedback. They're good signs that saying that your body is adapting to your workout, is adapting to the things that you're putting it into it. So give yourself that consistency, continuously to do it. I know for sure that you're going to make progress, but it might not show so much from the outside. That's also the reason why from number 1 point there, I ask you to measure your diastasis recti gap and the depth. You'll be surprised. You might not lose inches, but the gap is closing. The depth is also decreasing to a shallower depth. And that is a good sign that you're progressing well. So make sure you're tracking those and be patient with yourself. Now that I shared the 5 do's to heal your diastasis recti, let's discuss about the 5 don'ts. Do not do these when you're trying to heal your ab separation. Number 1, don't rush into doing traditional core exercises like sit-up, plank, crunches. Now they have a place in it in strengthening your core, but you don't want to do them right away. I tell you this because of my first-hand experience, because I have done a lot of the core and crunches, didn't know that I have diastasis recti and make things a lot worse, and to a point where it's irreversible for myself. Like I can't really get abs even if I try so hard. That's why you need to focus on gentler movement first and then build that progressions on top of it. It's like you need to prepare for running, but before you run, you need to know how to run. You need to know how to walk first. Building progression. So if you want to do a plank on the floor, can you do a modified plank first, right? Do it on the wall, do it on the countertop, do it on the chair, and then going onto the floor. If you're able to handle it without pain, without back pain, without pressure on your stomach, without pressure on your pelvic floor, right? Those are another symptoms that you can watch out for you to make sure that, okay, you're progressing well. Number 2 is to don't ignore your posture and daily movement. This is super important when it comes to moms. Like we pick up our baby, we soothe them, right? We breastfeed them. We do a lot of things that is hunching and rounding our shoulders. Even if you're not a mom, you might be on your desk all day hunching your shoulder and do things on your computer or on your phone. So you need to be mindful of your posture. The posture definitely play a role on how your stomach look, even if you don't have diastasis recti. Are you slouching here? Okay, can you bring it back? Are you forward head? Right? Can you bring your chin back? Are you anterior pelvic tilt or posterior pelvic tilt on your pelvis? They play a big role in terms of how you look, and also when you're exercising, the form matters a lot. If you're anterior pelvic tilt, right, then you're just sticking your stomach out as you're working out, and you're not really, like, even if you try to want to engage your core, it's a lot harder. Being mindful of your posture, and then daily movement as well. How do you pick up your baby? Instead of rounding your back, using your back to pick up your baby, you wanted to bend your knees if you don't have the core strength yet, right? So, use your hips to help you to squat with your legs instead of rounding your back. So that's really important to pay attention on. You don't want it to aggravate or make things worse. Number 3 of the don't is to don't compare yourself with other people. I know this is so tempting, and that's exactly my naive came in. After my pregnancy, I just compared to how other people just bounce back like they never had a baby, right? I really thought that I would be like that. I would just naturally lose the weight by breastfeeding, just by doing nothing. I just thought that's how women's body a miracle, right? That's what people say. But don't compare yourself to other people. If you don't bounce back like your friends do, or like your sister do, or friends on social media, especially, don't believe a lot of things that you see on social media, right? So you need to compare yourself to who? To yourself. You have to compare to yourself, but you need to know what you're starting with, right? You need to take before photo, you need to weigh in, you need to measure your gap, your depth, you need to measure the waistline. You need to know all these data in order for you to be confidently knows that, okay, you're progressing or you're not progressing. Give yourself that timeline, 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, you give yourself that timeline to measure yourself, to see if you are able to do a little bit better than last week, do a little bit better than last month. That's what you're comparing to. You don't want to compare with anybody else, right? But if you do, of course, there is shorter cuts, I would say, or faster approach. If you know exactly what you need to do and you're not wasting time on an exercise that is just stalling you or don't really work, right? Working with a coach or a specialist would be very helpful for you. And I am one. If you do wanted to learn more about my program, you can go to www.tummywarrior.com. I customize program for new moms or moms with diastasis recti. So that will definitely guarantee you that results, because I know what I'm doing, or that specialist know what she's doing. So, and then we're catering to your unique situation and your unique body. Number 4 is don't skip your nutritions. I know it's tempting to just like, oh, I'm working out now, I can just forego my nutritions, or like maybe also you're a big foodie, you cannot stop eating, you're eating around the clock because you're always feeling hungry, you're breastfeeding, the baby eats whatever, or the toddler eats, and then you eat the leftover. Oh yeah, I experienced it all. I have 2 kids under 2. And so it's very easy to slip out of that nutrition habit, but please don't skip the nutrition part. If you do want to heal the diastasis, nutrition absolutely is a critical role. I would say 50-50. If exercise is 50%, definitely another 50% is coming from your nutrition. Bloating is a big issue causing that belly to bulges out, constipations, also inflammation in the stomach and your gut lining after postpartum, not necessarily just postpartum, not necessarily just diastasis recti, but postpartum inflammation in our body is real. We need to address that so that our body is less puffy and less bloated. Number 5 is to don't overdo things, especially if you have a cesarean birth or even vaginal birth. You really need to watch out how you're feeling before you start doing things. So if you wanted to do too much too soon, it's so hard, right? It's so hard for your body. It already underwent so much. So you need to be gentler with your body. Start with gentler movement, breathing exercises, and listen to your body. Don't overdo it. Now that I addressed 10 do's and don'ts, I wanted to share with you just 3 myths here that is commonly misinterpreted in the diastasis recti healing. Number 1 is diastasis recti can only be healed through surgery. Not true. Number 2, diastasis recti can only be healed or considered be healed when it's 100% closed. That's not true either. You can still have 3-4 fingers gap diastasis recti, and that is considered healed. But the functional aspect, we need to look at that. Number 3 is you can spot reduce the tummy with exercises, and that is not true. I'll explain more of those in my other videos on my channel, but I wanted to keep this video shorter. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want exercise, let's start with exercises. 360-degree breathing right here. Let's do that alongside me. It's about 17 minutes work along video, and I can't wait to see you inside. Talk to you later. Bye.